Today we're talking about Chicago. We're talking about the potential of a new Chicago White Sox baseball stadium. We're talking about the Ballys Casino coming in early 2026. And we're also going to talk about Fall Fest and some things that are happening this weekend in Chicago. So for all that and more, stay tuned. This is a new addition to this channel called Covered in Chicago, or Chicago Covered. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jordan Pyle and I'm your go-to Chicago real estate agent. My team and I have serviced the city of Chicago for the last 11 years. We've helped over hundreds of clients and we would love the opportunity to support you and your real estate goals as well. So if you have any questions, reach out to the number on the screen. You can text that number and a team member or myself will get in touch within 24 hours. All right, so let's get into today's Covered in Chicago, talking about different news articles and headlines happening in Chicago right now. Let's go. All right, so as you can see from the headline here, we're talking about a new article that came out today from NBC Chicago. And this is saying that Rob Manfred addresses White Sox Stadium pursuit, future in Chicago. So the White Sox are exploring a new stadium proposal and could potentially be sold by the owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. As we continue on here, it says the Chicago White Sox are dealing with plenty of drama, both on and off the field, and Major League Baseball's commissioner is weighing in on their future. So ever since I've been in Chicago, and it looks like based on this article, ever since the White Sox played in Chicago since 1901, they have virtually been in the same location, which is now called Guaranteed Rate Field, but it was once the original Comiskey Park, which is at 35th and Shields on kind of the southwest side of Chicago. Goes on to say that Commissioner Rob Manfred, appearing on FS1's Breakfast Ball on Wednesday morning, was asking about the future of the White Sox in Chicago and the obstacles they've encountered in seeking public financing for a proposed stadium in the South Loop. And I think the South Loop, this could be a really, really great opportunity. So they're looking at the site that's known as the 78, as you can see here, the 78 developer pitches ballpark. This was the site that actually one of our articles we're going to cover after this was thinking about developing on for the Ballys Casino, or the casino that ultimately became the Ballys Casino. They were looking at the 78 basically plot of land, which is kind of considered the 78th community or neighborhood in Chicago, hence the name the 78. Currently right now there are 77 different community areas, and this is a large parcel in the South Loop of Chicago, kind of near like Soldier Field area, a little bit more south than that. Where there's just prime opportunity for the city to expand into this location. And so now that the Ballys Casino is taking the place of the Tribune, which is along the Chicago River, the 78 is still an available option for something like a new White Sox Stadium. As you know, the Cubs play on the north side of the city in Wrigley Field in the Lakeview neighborhood. And I feel that just having that central location in the city for the Cubs helps with the engagement of the Cubs and overall attendance and different things like that that drive money, not only to the team, but to the city. And so Manfred called Chicago an anchor city for the league and cited concerns about the location of Guaranteed Rate Field during his answer. He says, I think that the White Sox are in a difficult situation. I think the location of the stadium is tough, but I have confidence that things are going to work out and we're going to continue to have two teams in Chicago, which has been awesome to have in my 11 years, being able to root for the Chicago Cubs, the Chicago White Sox, or maybe even both, or neither, if that's your thing. So the White Sox have played, like I said, since 1901 in the same location. The team constructed Guaranteed Rate Field across the street and moved into the ballpark in 1991, but the Sox have recently began exploring building a stadium on that South Loop parcel known as the 78. So it says the team has even gone so far as to construct a temporary baseball diamond at the location, showcasing the Chicago skyline and designed to win over skeptical lawmakers as the team pursues public financing for the project. And so this is, as you can see on the screen, this is kind of the proposal, the views that the ballpark would have, which is honestly super sick. I love that view from like the south side of the city looking north. And that's what the 78 and a new White Sox Stadium would entail. And so Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker called himself reluctant when it comes to approving any public subsidy for a new stadium and said Illinois taxpayers are as well. And then it says, meanwhile, reports from The Athletic have indicated that Jerry Reinsdorf, who's owned the team since the 1980s, is open to selling the team, and that former MLB player and entrepreneur Dave Stewart is one of the potentially interested parties. And so this is kind of all up for question right now, but it says on the diamond, the White Sox are coming off the worst season in modern MLB history, losing 121 games and breaking a record that had previously been held by the 1962 New York Mets for the most losses in the league since 1900. So I don't know if a new stadium is the answer, but I think that this is really exciting potential project for the city of Chicago. And if you're a White Sox fan, I'm sure that this is something that you're getting super jazzed about. And in general, even if you're a Cubs fan, I think this is something that would be good for the city. And I honestly think the 78 is a really good location for this. So truth be told, we don't know what's gonna happen, but we will keep our eyes on this breaking news article about a new White Sox stadium. All right, so we talked about the White Sox. Now we're gonna flip over and talk about the second article and topic happening in Chicago right now, which is the Bally's Casino. And this is something that was approved a while back. However, there are certain changes that are starting to happen with the overall project. And I just wanna add in and kind of give my overall thoughts because I think this is a huge development project and a huge initiative from Chicago that is really going to impact the city in a big way, both positive and a few negatives that I'll mention. And so if we turn our attention over to the screen here, you see this is the second article. We just talked about the first, which was the Chicago White Sox. Now we're talking about Bally's changes. So Bally's changes hotel location at Chicago Casino project. So you can see here, the 500 room tower will move to the southern end of the 30-acre development due to unforeseen underground infrastructure, said the gambling and entertainment company. And so as you can see here, you see the rendering of the actual building itself and the full development. You see now that the tower is on the left side of the development. Here along the rest, you see the more mid-rise, kind of along the Chicago River. That is going to be the main part of the casino. So it says here, Bally's Corp has made some changes to its ambitious 30-acre Chicago casino development, including plans for its hotel. The project is still getting a 500-key hotel. However, in the latest design update, the tower is moved to sit along the end of the future Bally's Chicago Casino near Ohio Street along the Chicago River, pending approval by the Chicago Department of Planning and Development. The hotel was moved due to unforeseen underground infrastructure. And so who knows exactly what that means, but all we care to know is that the change of the actual development of the casino is just gonna look slightly different. It says the 34-story hotel tower will feature a large pool spa, fitness center, a sun deck, and a rooftop restaurant bar with views of the Chicago skyline. It's now expected to be completed in a single-phase construction project financed by, I don't know what that word is, Wyoming, Pennsylvania-based Gaming and Leisure Properties. Gaming and Leisure Properties has agreed to finance the entire development in a single phase to deliver a better project in a more efficient manner, said President of Bally's, George Papanier. Bally's Chicago Casino is planned for the former Tribune publishing site at 777 West Chicago Ave, which Bally's took possession of earlier this month and is being prepared for demolition. And this was July of 2016. So now, as of October 23rd, there is actually demolition that's happening on the old Chicago Tribune Tower, or the Chicago Tribune site. And so what I love about this location, and whether it's the perfect place for the casino or not, there was a lot of speculation about this when these plans were in the works, and as different basically companies such as Bally's were competing for this project and for the bid for this project. And they talked about the 78, which is the parcel that we talked about with the first article for the potential of the Chicago White Sox new stadium. They talked about this parcel, and then there was a few others that were in the mix as well. And so for anyone that doesn't know, so this parcel is basically right in between River North, being one of the downtown like kind of primary markets, and then River West, which then attaches to like the West Loop and kind of the west side, west of the expressway here in Chicago. And so it's a really good location. However, it's kind of right in the middle of everything, and it feels like it may be a little congested. And so that's one of the things that I think a lot of people, especially the residents in the neighborhood, have been worried about is that area of town already has pretty poor traffic and just kind of general flow of people and cars and traffic through. And now with this new major development, how is that going to change things? Are they going to add new roads? Are they going to give the ability for people to cross more bridges? Because this is basically, as you can see in the picture above, this is right across the river. So if you go left here, behind this development, essentially, you're looking at River North. And if you go to the right across the river, you're looking at River West. And that may be flipped depending on what angle I'm looking at, but I believe that's what it is. And so you need to cross over the river, over a bridge, in order to access those different parts of the city. And currently, as of now, there's basically two main run-throughs. There's Chicago Ave, and then I can't exactly remember what the other one is, but I know it's Milwaukee, and then it comes over to Kinsey, a little bit more south than Chicago Ave. And so right now that area is pretty congested, so I think there's a lot of talk about how they're going to make this work with the influx of all these people that are going to be attracted to the actual casino. It says, with keys to the property in hand, the new financing secured, a site plan that exceeds the original, and demolition set to start this summer, let there be no doubt that Bally Chicago Casino and Hotel will soon rise up along the Chicago River. It says that they absolutely intend to meet the September 2026 opening date as planned. And so this is up for debate whether they actually deliver this for September of 2026. To me, that feels a little bit ambitious. If I was a betting man, I'd say it's probably going to be sometime probably mid to late 2027, but you never know what can happen as long as everything keeps moving forward. And what it says below is that when the city of Chicago approved the 30-acre development in May of 2023, Bally's estimated its total project cost at $1.7 billion. Beyond the hotel, the project will include a casino with approximately 3,300 slots, a 3,000-seat movie theater, 6 restaurants, cafes, and a food hall, and a 2-acre public park. In Las Vegas, Bally's is working with Gaming and Leisure Properties to build a Major League Baseball stadium for the Oakland A's on the site of the former Tropicana Las Vegas Casino Resort. So this is just giving you an idea of the type and the magnitude of other properties that Gaming and Leisure Properties is working with. But I think this is a cool development. I think I voted no on the location of the casino, but I support the casino at large. I think, you talk about different, crime that could come from a casino and the type of people and just kind of interest that this attracts. But then you also think about all the things that it does attract to the city that helps improve the city, maybe helps us cut down on, our deficit in our budget, and just add more income coming into the city through a development like Ballys Casino. And so I think that in the short term, it's going to hurt property values around the area, but in the long term, it's going to boost them. And so I have some clients who own properties on Superior, basically just over the river in River West, and I think that'll eventually be a really good play if you can rent those properties. So you're gonna have a lot of people coming in short term, wanting to be able to find a solid place to stay if they're not staying at the actual hotel. They want something with a kitchen, they want something a little bit more, maybe family friendly, because it's not just gonna be a casino. As you saw here, there's restaurants, cafes, there's a park, there's gonna be a lot of different things that you can enjoy through this mega $1.7 billion development. And so overall for the city, I think it checks the box as a pro and an advantage, but there are certainly some disadvantages. But seems like it's, pretty much, all goes at this point. Everything is moving forward, and they're projecting this to finish and open September of 2026. So we'll see if that's the case. But I just thought that was an interesting article to bring up. Again, this is like a couple months ago, but this is one of the major developments happening in Chicago right now. So I wanted to cover it on this today since we were already talking about the potential for the White Sox Stadium. So those are the two articles today, and as promised, I wanted to also give you a snapshot of something that's happening this actual weekend in Chicago, which would be, I think, the 25th and the 26th of the month. And we have the Fall Fest presented by Jewel Osco. So this is going to be, it runs through the 27th. It started September 27th. It runs through October. It's open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and it has free admission. And so some of the things that you can do, there's rides and attractions. It says the overview here. Dive into the wonderful world of autumn. Wow, that's a tough one to say. From picking the perfect pumpkin to taking the scents of hot cider and toasted s'mores with Lincoln Park Zoo's 10th annual Fall Fest presented by Jewel Osco. This free, family-friendly celebration brings harvest time fun to the heart of Chicago each year from September through October. This year's Fall Fest features ticketed attractions throughout the zoo, including the fun slide, Ferris wheel, inflatable activities, and much more. While you stroll through the decorated gardens, bursting with fall color, you'll enjoy free musical entertainment, professional pumpkin carvers, a pumpkin patch, and fall themed enrichment for the animals. Every weekend we'll offer something new, but as I mentioned, this is the last weekend, so you wanna go if you have not yet gone. This is in the Lincoln Park Zoo, and it's gonna be a great time. So you have rides, you have pop-ups, pumpkin patch performers, photo ops, animal enrichment, live pumpkin carving, maybe even some penguin encounters. So that's the event that I wanted to highlight for you and your family for this coming weekend. So that is it. Those are the 2 news articles and the one thing to do happening this week in Chicago. And I hope that you like this covered in Chicago format. We're gonna start doing these most likely 1 a week. We're kind of gonna ease into this. As I mentioned before, we may do these as live videos in the future so that you can ask questions, you can engage. We wanna really make sure that we are bringing something new to this community and for all of you that have followed Living in Chicago, the YouTube channel. And so I'm really appreciative for you being here. Again, my name is Jordan Pyle. I'm your go-to Chicago real estate agent. My team and I have been servicing the city of Chicago for the last 11 years. We've helped hundreds of clients, and if you have any questions whatsoever, if you're moving to Chicago or moving around in the city of Chicago, you have a place to sell or a place to buy, or maybe looking for an investment property, just text the number on the screen and myself or a team member will get in touch within 24 hours. So without further ado, I hope you like this version of a video covered in Chicago. Plenty more to come. We'll see you on the next video. And lastly, if this has been of value to you, do us a favor, like the video, comment down below, turn on your notifications so you can catch all of our future videos, and definitely subscribe before you click off. All right, we'll see you soon. Peace.